What in the world just happened? Moments ago, Melania Trump just held a shocking press conference on the Epstein files. And Melania said that she's getting defamed by people saying that she had associations with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. She says that there are photographs and statements and documents that are circulating about her having connections with Epstein and Ghislaine, which she says are false and are defaming her reputation. She also calls for there to be congressional hearings regarding the Epstein files and that the victims and survivors should be permitted to testify publicly in Congress about their stories, and that all the people who are associated with Epstein, those are the people who should be exposed. The timing of this press conference from Melania Trump regarding the Epstein files, while we're looking to see if this fraudulent ceasefire that Donald Trump is talking about, is going to hold, or what the status is there, as the Strait of Hormuz is essentially still closed by Iran. Melania Trump delivers this press conference from the White House in Washington, D.C. This was very, very odd. Let me show you what went down here. Here, Melania Trump says that there are numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me that have been percolating on social media. I'll play this clip right here. Let's play it.
The first time I crossed paths with Epstein was in the year 2000 at an event Donald and I attended together. At the time, I had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal undertakings. Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me have been circulating on social media for years now. Be cautious about what you believe. These images and stories are completely false. I'm not a witness or a named witness in connection with any of Epstein's crimes. My name has never appeared in court documents, depositions, victim statements, or FBI interviews surrounding the Epstein matter. I have never had any knowledge of Epstein abuse of his victims. I was never involved in any...
When she says things, we should just show the facts and the data, right? There lies in the Epstein files. They're in the Epstein files. There are communications between Melania and Ghislaine, like this email, October 23rd, 2002, Dear G. That's what Melania called Ghislaine. Gee, how are you? Nice story about Jeffrey Epstein in New York Magazine. That's the article where Donald Trump said that Epstein likes women on the younger side and he's a great guy. Melania goes on to say, you look great on the picture. I know you are very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you are back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania. To which Ghislaine Maxwell responded with her nickname for Melania, Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea. Thanks for your message. Actually, plans changed again, and I'm now on my way back to New York. I leave again on Friday, so I still do not think I have time to see you, sadly. I will try and call, though. That was their communication right there. More from this Melania press conference right here, where she says, now is the time for Congress to act. By the way, I agree it was time for Congress to act a very long time ago. But what do you think the motivations are for Melania doing this? Play this clip.
UK. Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record. Then, and only then, we will have the truth. Thank you.
The Secretary Lutnick to continue serving.
As Aaron Parnas, who's on the MeidasTouch network and has his own great independent media company as well, says, the Melania Trump statement on Epstein is not just odd in timing, but it's odd in substance. The DOJ is required to interview survivors, not Congress. Melania admits others were involved with Epstein, breaking from Donald Trump and Trump's DOJ. And why now? Doing it during the war is something. I mean, this is pretty unusual stuff. I mean, are we going to be learning more stuff coming out in the pipelines? I mean, what's really going on here? Then Melania says, I've never been friends with Epstein. We're just invited to the same parties from time to time. Here, play this clip.
I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never...
Then she goes on to say that the false smears about her are mean-spirited. Let's play this clip.
...behavior. The false smears about me from mean-spirited and politically motivated individuals and entities looking to cause damage to my good name, to gain financially and climb politically, must stop. My attorneys and I have fought these unfounded and baseless lies with success and will continue to maintain my sound reputation without hesitation. To date, several individuals and companies have been legally obligated to publicly apologize and retract their lies about me, such as Daily Beast, James Carville, and HarperCollins, UK.
And then she said that the lies about her and Epstein, as she says, those need to end immediately. Here, play this clip.
The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in detail in my book, Melania.
I mean, we have some photos as well, just so you remember. I mean, these are real photos of Melania, Ghislaine, and Donald, Melania, Ghislaine, Jeffrey Epstein, and Donald at multiple different functions and events. There are, of course, those emails, and we know that Congress, the Republicans, forced Hillary Clinton to sit for a deposition. So I don't see why Melania at this point shouldn't sit for a deposition. Ahmed Baba writes, this was so random. To my knowledge, there was no notable discourse recently about Melania's ties to Epstein. All eyes have been on the Iran war. What prompted this? Is something about to drop? Seems to me the First Lady just injected Epstein back into the news cycle unprompted. One other thing I'll point out about this bizarre Melania press conference, she said all of that stuff, and then a reporter tried to ask her a question. So based on what you're saying, don't you think that Howard Lutnick and others who are in the Trump regime, don't you think they should resign? Like, what do you think about Lutnick? And then Melania just kind of storms out and walks away. Here, watch this.
And only then we will have the truth. Thank you.
For Secretary Lutnick to continue serving?
You know, one of the things, too, that's worth discussing now, we've done a lot of deep dives on Melania's dark past, raising lots of questions. You know, Melania says the way she was introduced to Donald Trump had nothing to do with Epstein, and she's threatened to sue people who say that there's a connection there, that Epstein was the person to make the introduction. What she says, it was a guy by the name of Paolo Zampoli, who ran his own modeling agency at the time with Eastern European girls and women. And Pablo Zampoli would bring these European girls and women over to the United States to model. And then he would host parties at the Kit Kat Club where they would be introduced to rich Manhattan businessmen. And Melania met Donald Trump at one of these Kit Kat Club parties hosted by Paolo Zampoli. Zampoli since has become an ambassador for the United States. He holds kind of top-level social government positions, and he's still very close to Donald Trump, and we see him all around. Recently, Paolo Zampoli, who made that introduction, said that it was a good thing to be included on the Epstein file in the list. This is what Zampoli says. He goes, "At least I was included, because if you're not on the list, you're a loser," right? And Zampoli, of course, very close to Melania. He brought Melania here into the United States, and she writes about that in her biography. And that's and New York Times has reported on it. That's a very well-known story. You know, what's interesting as well is you take a look at what Melania said, and let me just show you what Donald Trump has previously said about the Epstein files. Here's Donald Trump saying the Epstein files is a hoax. Play this clip.
No, it's I call it the Epstein hoax. It takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements, we've had a great gentleman yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC, and he made the statement that Trump may go down as the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with the economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people. Yeah, go ahead.
Here he says it's just like Russia, a hoax. Again, play this clip.
50,000 pages, and it's just a Russia hoax as it pertains to the Republicans now.
And then Donald Trump's social media post, like this one from July 16th. Their new scam is what will forever be called the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and my past supporters who have bought into this bullshit hook, line, and sinker, they haven't learned their lesson and probably never will. He says it's bullshit, it's the hoax, and it's not real. And you heard what Melania said. So all very fascinating for this to come out now. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks so much for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.